Hello guys, welcome back to another installment of Professor Charles' Live. Shooby-doo-doo, oh yeah. And welcome back to another installment of Professor Charles' Live. And today we're going to talk about some Marvel stuff, dealing with Spider-Man 3 and the future of Spider-Man with Disney and Sony. Let's talk about what do I know about Spider-Man 3 so far. So apparently, Spider-Man 3 is slated for a Marvel release and Sony release 2021 next year, so we don't have to wait any further for it. But let's talk about things I do know about it besides the release date. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about it. Number one. Doc Ock is returning. The guy that plays Doc Ock in the Spider-Man movie by Sam Raimi, forgive me guys, is literally returning. I actually liked him as Doc Ock. He made a very convincing Doc Ock, and I can't wait to see him return in the new Spider-Man film. Okay, number two on the list is kind of pretty obvious. I mean, the way they set up Spider-Man Far From Home, it was pretty obvious. You know, it was like a dead giveaway type of feeling, but I already knew it was coming. Daredevil is definitely gonna be in the next Spider-Man 3 that's coming out next year. The best news about this, literally, I kept saying to myself, I said, Disney, do not get rid of this actor. Charlie Cox is returning. The Netflix Daredevil actor is returning to play Daredevil. Man, I am so happy about that. Because, I mean, as much as I like Daredevil, the actual series on Netflix, I said, if they do not pick up Charlie Cox for this film, shame on Disney, shame on Marvel, and shame on Sony. Because to me personally, he has played the best Daredevil I've seen on screen. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a streaming service, Netflix, I didn't particularly care for Ben Affleck as Daredevil, honestly. But I'm happy that Charlie Cox is returning. Yes, sir. Can't wait to see it. I mean, when you saw Spider-Man Far From Home, you knew he needed to get a lawyer. Mac Murdock, also known as Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen, pretty much. New York, come on. That's number two. Number three on the list was a little shocking. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Jamie Foxx as Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but he is returning. I was like, Jamie Foxx pulled off that role, yo. I was like, when I first heard Jamie Foxx, you know what I'm saying, in the other Spider-Man movie, I was like, they actually picked him back up. I was like, oh, great. I think he did a great job playing Electro. You know, and even though he's black, I'm cool with that too. But I think it's a good job. I think personally that was a good choice to bring him back aboard to be a part of Spider-Man 3. I'm happy to see that. Also, the next on the news, number four. Let's talk about number four. So number four is that Gwen will be in Spider-Man 3, and Emma Watson will be returning as the role as Gwen. You know what? I actually liked her as Gwen. Personally, I was like, good choice. Typical Gwen. You know, Peter's best friends at some point, love interest. I was like, you know what? I think it's a good choice, you know, and I'm happy to see how the Spider-Man anticipation for this third film is kind of like, you know, it's eating at me, man, because I enjoy Marvel films, you know, so I'm like, dog, this Spider-Man 3 is sounding epic. Now, number five is an interesting one. Kristen Dunst is returning as Mary Jane. So far, when I really think about all the information I've gotten so far with this Spider-Man thing, we already know it's going to deal with the multiverse so far. But it's good to see her return as Mary Jane. It'll be interesting to see how her role is. Is she going to be like a older Mary Jane, or is she going to be, you know, I don't know, man. It's still interesting to see her return. I think she did a good job as Mary Jane. You know what I'm saying? Peter's love interest. And I was like, okay, I could take that. But that's the next. Now, the next piece of information, let's talk about this. And, you know, when I really think about it, I was like, I can really definitely see this happening. Jake Gyllenhaal is returning. And I say, you know what? It makes pretty much sense. I mean, if this movie is kind of like going towards the Sinister Six type of thing, it makes complete sense. I think Jake Gyllenhaal did an excellent job, like playing Mysterio for the first time. Like, as much of people that love Spider-Man, I always wanted to see Mysterio on the screen. And I think this time around, when we see Jake Gyllenhaal, we're gonna see a different Mysterio. Remember, Mysterio wasn't from Peter's Earth. He was from a whole nother Earth. So we may be getting the one from his current universe. And I'm like, all right, I see y'all. Y'all got this, boy. This is gonna be lit. I'm like, Jake Gyllenhaal returning? I'm like, oh, I was happy to hear that news. I was like, okay, I see y'all out here, Sony and Marvel. Yeah. So that's good to see that he's returning. Also, Andrew Garfield will be returning. Now, here's my thing about Andrew Garfield. Hopefully he's gotten better as Spider-Man. I couldn't really I don't know, man. I don't hate him as an actor, don't get me wrong. I don't think Spider-Man was his best role. Personally, that's just me. Everyone has their biases or things they like about certain actors. But I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? If he can, him and Tom Holland and Toby, because they're, and it's interesting. I'm like looking forward to see this, and I'm like, yes, all three Spider-Mans together. Also, rumor is, let's talk about this, because this is still not confirmed, you know what I'm saying? This is not official. So let's talk about this. Tobey Maguire is willing to return to play Spider-Man, but here's the thing. He wants some moolah. He wants some of that cheddar. So if they give him a decent contract, we will in fact see the GOAT, the original GOAT before Tom Holland, return as Spider-Man. Yes, I'm like, hey, if they can give him a decent contract and he's willing to return, I'm all for it, yo. I'm all for it. I'm like, Toby? Toby? Not Toby. Because he hasn't done a movie in forever, yo. I can't even think of the name of the last movie he played in, but it's been quite a while. So I think fans would love to see Toby back. And like I said, Tom Holland's just the perfect age for Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other thing. Also, with this whole Spider-Man thing, let's talk about it. So, future Spider-Man. So now we're at this segment. Pretty much with Spider-Man, they're talking about maybe doing 3 more films or maybe 2 more films after Spider-Man 3. And you know what? It makes sense. And let me just explain why it makes sense. Tom Holland he's the right age. He could probably do some more films for Spider-Man. I think it's a great idea. The only thing is, Spider-Man is owned by Sony, and it's a partnership with Disney and Marvel. So it's like, I just hope they don't have to go through no nasty feud again. It kind of sucks that Spider-Man's in a tug-of-war battle between Sony. So that's mine. Marvel that's mine. And you're just like, come on, guys. Can we cooperate? I think it could work with Tom Holland. I think it'll be epic if they could do a Spider-Man 4, 5, and a 6. You know what I'm saying? 3 be kind of his Endgame and stuff like that, where the other Spider-Mans come together. And I think it's a terrific idea. And this also means that this might spin off into maybe seeing a Miles Morales Spider-Man film, a standalone film. And I hope that with all this information that we do get Miles Morales confirmed. I mean, even if it's just a cameo, I'll take the cameo. You know what I'm saying? But if he has a role, that's totally fine too. I'm all for it. Either way it goes, I'm like, I kept wondering to myself, when we gonna get Miles Morales? It's good to see all the other Spider-Man actors returning and stuff. And I'm just like, so hopefully that works out. And I think with Spider-Man, it's in good hands. And like I said, I just think that if Sony and Marvel could kind of come together and not be at each other's necks like they were for a while back, this is terrific. I think Tom Holland, to me, by far, is the best Spider-Man actor. I love Tobey, don't get me wrong. But I think he fits the age. He has the sense of humor. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tobey did too, but I just feel like he oozes Peter Parker. You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't know how true this is, and maybe I should say this. There may be Hobgoblin. There's a possibility that Hobgoblin may be in the next Spider-Man film. I'm like, oh, 3? Whoa, 3 is just like, I'm just happy to hear this news. But guys, what do you think about this news? Are you happy? Are you disappointed? You tell me in the comments. Your boy, Professor Charles S. Live. Have a great day, and I'm out.